The gentle rustle of leaves echoed in the forest as the Buddha sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree. A wealthy merchant, seeking solace, approached with hurried steps and eyes clouded by confusion and unease. Bowing deeply, the merchant said, "Great teacher, I come burdened by the weight of my wealth, seeking the wisdom to understand its meaning." The Buddha smiled softly, his serene presence radiating calm across the grove. "Tell me," he began, "does your wealth bring you peace or does it fuel your disquiet?" The merchant hesitated, his gaze faltering. "It aids my life, master, but it also burdens my spirit," he confessed with a heavy sigh. The disciples, sensing his arrival, folded their palms and bowed deeply in respect. Buddha looked at them with eyes that reflected endless understanding and infinite patience. When it flows freely, it nourishes all it touches. The merchant listened intently, his brow furrowing in thought. "But master," he asked, "how can one balance the need for security with the desire for generosity?" The Buddha gestured toward a stream nearby, its waters glistening under the sunlight. "Look at the stream," he said, "and observe its flow. It holds not its waters, yet it nurtures life and sustains the earth." Pausing, he added, "Money is neither virtuous nor wicked. It is a tool. Its purpose is defined by its wielder." The merchant nodded slowly, the metaphor seeping into his understanding. "And how shall I wield it wisely, master?" he inquired, his voice tinged with hope. The Buddha clasped his hands together gently. "Do not let your wealth master you. Instead, let it serve the greater good," he explained. "Practice generosity and cultivate compassion. The act of giving heals the spirit and liberates the heart." His voice grew softer, resonating like the soothing melody of a distant stream. Full of calm wisdom, the seasons change effortlessly, yet we do not weep for winter nor revel endlessly in summer's warmth. The Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, its edges curled and its surface speckled, evidence of its journey through time. This leaf does not resist its fall, knowing it returns to the soil, where its essence nourishes new life. Fear arises not from the act of giving, but from the clinging to possessions, he said. He pointed to the towering trees that stood steadfast around them. These trees shed their leaves without lamenting the loss, for they know abundance is cyclical and life eternal, the Buddha remarked. When we release our grip on wealth, we align with the natural flow of existence. A group of curious disciples gathered around, their eyes sparkling with anticipation. One of them asked, "Master, can wealth ever lead to enlightenment?" The Buddha addressed the group, his voice filled with clarity. "Wealth alone cannot lead to enlightenment. Yet, when coupled with wisdom and compassion, it becomes a path to virtue." He placed his hand upon the trunk of a tall, sturdy tree, its branches swaying gently in the calm breeze. This mighty tree did not resist its growth, nor does it cling to its form, knowing it will one day fall. "I see now, Master," he said, "that true wealth lies in the love and goodwill we share." The Buddha nodded approvingly and gestured toward the horizon, where the setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold. "Blessed One, the cycles of nature mirror the cycles of existence. In embracing this truth, one finds solace in impermanence." The Buddha turned to Ananda, his expression kind, his eyes glimmering with a depth that spoke to universal compassion. To fear death is to fear the natural order of existence. To embrace impermanence is to embrace freedom from suffering. He led the disciples back to the Bodhi tree, their hearts lighter, their steps carrying the wisdom imparted by their teacher. The disciples nodded, their hearts filled with gratitude for the wisdom of their beloved teacher. And so, the lesson of wealth, as fire to illuminate and not consume, spread far and wide. Through the guidance of the Buddha, the merchant found his peace, and countless lives were touched by his generosity. The grove, once silent, now hummed with the joy of shared prosperity and the light of awakened minds. Meditate on impermanence. Allow it to transform your perspective. To replace fear with acceptance and serenity, Ananda knelt before the Buddha. His expression peaceful, his voice steady, filled with gratitude for the teachings bestowed. Blessed One, your words guide my soul toward freedom, helping me to overcome the shadows of fear that once enveloped me. The disciples bowed in reverence, their hearts brimming with gratitude and clarity, their minds illuminated by the Buddha's truth. A gentle breeze passed through the grove, rustling the leaves and carrying the scent of earth and flowers. The disciples felt a subtle shift within themselves, a loosening of the tight grip they had on their preconceived notions. The cycle of life continued, its rhythm unbroken, its beauty unwavering, its truth eternal. Another day, another journey. The Buddha gestured toward a nearby lotus pond, its blossoms radiant amidst the murky waters. Do you see the lotus flower? He asked, his voice soft yet profound. She knelt before the Buddha, her sobs breaking the stillness, her arms cradling the lifeless form of her child. Blessed One, she cried, her voice filled with desperation. Give me the medicine to bring my child back to life. The farmer looked at the Buddha with searching eyes. How do I cultivate this wisdom and contentment, Master? He asked, his voice tinged with hope. The Buddha raised his hand, pointing toward the horizon where the sun bathed the fields in golden light. Begin by practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and loving kindness, he said. These are the seeds from which happiness blooms. A group of villagers gathered nearby, drawn by the words of the enlightened one, their faces alight with curiosity. The Buddha turned to them and said, do not chase happiness as though it were a wild horse. Instead, nurture it with patience and care. He continued, happiness is not found in the accumulation of wealth or possessions. It arises from the simple act of being present. The Buddha nodded, his expression kind, as he addressed the woman and the disciples gathered around him. Daughter, you see now that death spares no one. Just as the waves of the ocean touch every shore, let your joy flow like the stream. The Buddha gestured toward a bird perched on a nearby tree, its melodious song filling the air with peace. Do you see that bird? He asked. It sings not for reward but for the joy of being. Let this be your practice. The farmer's shoulders relaxed as he absorbed the Buddha's wisdom, a gentle smile forming on his lips. I understand now, Master, he said. Happiness is not something I must seek but something I must awaken within. The Buddha nodded, his eyes gleaming with approval. The Buddha addressed the villagers once more, his voice resonating like a clear bell. Each of you carries within you the capacity for boundless joy, untethered by material pursuits or worldly fears. He added, the path to true happiness is illuminated by wisdom, mindfulness, and compassion, not by chasing illusions of the external world. Blessed One, your teachings have lifted the veil of my ignorance. I will carry them with me as I move forward. He found joy in the rustling of the wind through the crops, the laughter of his children, and the warmth of the sun. The happiness he once sought in vain had blossomed within him, like the lotus rising from the mud. The woman bowed deeply, her gratitude evident in every movement. As she rose and walked away, her steps lighter than before, the Buddha turned to his disciples, addressing them with the same calm authority that guided their paths. Master, he said, my life has been forever changed by your teachings. The happiness I once sought has become a living reality. Blessed One, how can we find peace when confronted by the inevitable loss of those we hold dear? The Buddha looked at Ananda, his expression both solemn and kind, his tone carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. Ananda, love and compassion do not require attachment. They flourish when we see others as part of the interconnected whole, he continued. his words weaving a tapestry of understanding for those who listened. Ananda said, "The sound of the unstruck staff is not in the ears. It is felt in the stillness within." Buddha nodded, a faint smile gracing his lips. The Buddha continued his journey, his steps light and his presence illuminating the lives of all who crossed his path. The villagers often gathered by the lotus pond, meditating together and reflecting on the timeless wisdom of the Enlightened One. The disciples sat beneath the Bodhi tree, their breaths deep and even, their minds attuned to the wisdom imparted by their teacher. The Buddha closed his eyes, entering a state of profound meditation, his presence a source of peace and inspiration to those around him. The world, touched by the compassion of the Buddha, became a little brighter with each act of kindness, each moment of mindfulness, and each blossom of inner joy. Another day, the Buddha ascended Vulture's Peak, the golden sun painting the horizon as disciples gathered to hear his teachings. Among the crowd, a merchant stepped forward, bowing deeply, and said, "Master, I struggle to balance wealth and happiness in my life." The Buddha smiled gently, his presence radiating calmness, and replied, "Tell me, merchant, do wealth and happiness compete, or can they exist harmoniously?" The merchant hesitated and said, "I often feel torn, Master, as though one cancels the other, leaving me conflicted and unsure." The Buddha gestured toward the valley below, where villagers worked together to build a shelter, their laughter carrying through the air. "Observe the villagers," he said. "Their efforts unite wealth and happiness, creating a community rooted in generosity and shared joy." A farmer nearby spoke up, saying, "Master, does renouncing wealth bring greater happiness? Or can wealth be used in service of the spirit?" The Buddha addressed the farmer, his voice clear and resonant. "Renouncing wealth with hatred binds the soul, but using wealth wisely fuels virtuous actions and uplifts the heart." The Buddha continued, "Money is like the sturdy shoes that carry you forward, while happiness is the moonlight that illuminates the path." His disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing the wisdom like rain nourishing parched earth. The merchant asked, "Master, how can I ensure my wealth serves the greater good rather than enslaving my spirit?" The Buddha turned toward the gentle breeze that stirred the leaves around them. "Let your wealth flow, like the wind carrying seeds, nourishing others while remaining untethered to desires." He added, "Generosity is the bridge between wealth and happiness, forging a connection that transcends attachment and cultivates compassion." Ananda stepped forward, his voice cautious, his question shaped by the depth of his reflections. "Blessed One, is the mud not a hindrance, a weight upon the beauty and purity of the lotus flower?" The Buddha turned his serene gaze toward Ananda, his tone compassionate, his answer carrying layers of insight. Another disciple posed a question, saying, "Master, how can we discern when our pursuit of wealth impedes our spiritual growth?" The Buddha paused, his gaze contemplative, and replied, "When wealth becomes a master rather than a servant, it obscures wisdom and diminishes the light of the soul." He pointed toward the golden sun sinking below the horizon, its rays bathing the world in warmth and light. The disciples nodded, their understanding deepened by the juxtaposition of sound and silence, action and inaction. One disciple, curious but cautious, asked, "Master, is the void not empty? How can it contain potential if it is nothingness?" Buddha's eyes gleamed with a gentle light, and his voice carried the clarity of a crystal-clear stream. "It flourishes through mindfulness and love." The villagers nodded, their faces alight with understanding and gratitude. As the Buddha continued, "Happiness and wealth coexist harmoniously only when both serve the higher purpose of compassion and wisdom." He turned toward the disciples and added, "Remember, wealth does not corrupt the heart. Attachment to wealth is the shadow that casts darkness upon the spirit." To transcend fear of death, one must rise above attachments, desires, and illusions. As the lotus transcends the mud, he gestured toward the pond. The still water hosting reflections of sky and trees, a mirror to life's complexities and beauty. Meditate upon the lotus, reflect on its journey, and let its truth blossom within your mind and soul. The disciples closed their eyes, their breaths aligning with the gentle rhythm of nature surrounding them. Their thoughts focused inward. You have walked the virtuous path, he said. Continue to balance wealth and happiness with compassion and wisdom guiding your journey. The Buddha spoke once more, his voice gentle yet filled with strength, offering guidance to the wandering thoughts of his disciples. Death is not to be feared. The merchant reflected on the Buddha's teachings. His heart lightened and his spirit uplifted, as the seeds of compassion blossomed within him. With every act of giving, the world grew brighter, the path to enlightenment illuminated by the unity of wealth and happiness. The sound of the void is heard in the flow of the river, the rustle of leaves, the stillness of the night, he said. It is not separate from you. It is you. As the moon rose above Vulture's Peak, its silver light casting a serene glow, the Buddha gazed upon the disciples. May these truths be a light to guide your lives, merging wealth and happiness into harmony that uplifts all beings. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with gratitude and devotion, ready to carry the wisdom forward and share its light. And so, the teachings of the Buddha spread across lands and generations, uniting minds and hearts in an eternal dance of compassion and peace. The merchant returned to his endeavors, his life imbued with purpose, his actions creating ripples of joy and transformation. The villagers continued their work, guided by the Buddha's wisdom, their efforts planting seeds of kindness in the hearts of all. With each sunrise and sunset, the union of wealth and happiness became a living truth, echoing the timeless teachings of the Enlightened One. And the spirit of the Buddha's words remained, inspiring the world with wisdom, love, and the boundless light of harmony. Buddha walked slowly among the towering trees, his footsteps light, yet filled with the gravity of wisdom. The disciples followed in quiet reverence, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of his nearing departure. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.